This takes some sort of I was gonna say mental illness, but that's not the right word.
How did you learn how to edit and color grade?
You ever get nervous when meeting/interviewing the artist?
And I've gotten literally manhandled by security. Yeah. It's all until they look at your Instagram.
Gagged!
Hello, welcome back to another episode of OverExposed, where we're going to be sharing your industry stories
and answering any questions you might have for us. I'm Giulia.
And I'm Amanda.
We had so much fun last time.
Yeah, we definitely yapped a little bit too much, so we're going to do a little more questions this time.
Yeah.
Let us know if the yapping is too much, or you like it.
Do you like us? Do you hate us? What do you want from us? No kidding. See, here it goes already. It's you can't stop. It's impossible. Yapping is a way of life.
First question. I feel like I take really good raw images, but I get so stuck when it comes to editing. How did you learn how to edit and color grade and really upgrade your image? I get so stuck on Lightroom presets and I feel like I need to step it up. To be honest, I just opened up Lightroom for the first time and I was editing, did what I thought was cool. I was playing around with it. They were literally awful. I did not play around with presets. I just played around with curves, did some really wonky stuff with my pictures. They were really, really bad. Over time and realizing, hey, maybe I don't really like the way this looks, or I look at other people's images and mine don't really look like that. And I think it's all just about consistency and keep practicing. And honestly, every time I edit a picture, I'll go back to it when I'm done and say, what can I do more to this? Yeah, at the end of the day, it's what you really like. That's all that matters. I always tend to make my photos a little more blue just because I really like the way that blues pop. I like a good teal blue. I also really like when skin tones look true to what they should be rather than having them match the filter. I think that's also something that really can make your image stand out. So if you have the background look like really cool colors and maybe not what it originally looked like, as long as you make the artist stand out and pop, I feel like that's what truly makes your image pop, is when you bring back those skin tones. I think it really I don't know, wraps up the image really well.
And she also has a bunch of editing tutorials on her social media. Not to plug or anything, but if y'all really want to see how she really gets down and dirty with it.
It's not even just for me. If you want to watch how other people edit their photos, I feel like it's really fascinating, and it can be a good learning of, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of, it shows up on my reels, it shows up on my TikTok of other people editing. I just found a new editing tip on Instagram Reels, and now I've been using it and I absolutely love it. I'll probably show it in one of my new editing tutorials, but I don't know everything in Lightroom. I definitely don't know it all, but I feel like every time I edit, I learn something new, and I think that just comes with time and practice.
I also feel like there's so much you can do on Lightroom, an obscene amount of, it's actually, I'm not a Lightroom god in any sort of way. I don't know much, but I use even the iPhone one, and the iPhone one even shocks me. Nonetheless, I don't even know what's on the computer. I also saw the one time when you did the Tyler the Creator photo where you literally, and this takes some sort of I was gonna say mental illness, but that's not the right word. It takes some sort of creative, mystical mind where she saw the fire in one picture and she edited it onto the other picture.
Yeah.
So I think it's just about me yapping like I know anything, but I feel from what I've learned from not only Amanda, but other people I've seen editing, there's a lot of things you can do with it, but it's also about your creative vision on it.
Exactly. I think you just really need to sit there and think, what can I do with this? Because objectively, that raw image for the Tyler photo was a very bad photo. Mm-hmm. It was far away. There was not really much to do with it, and I was like, how can I make this better? And I think that's maybe a good way that people can practice to get better, is look at the photos that you didn't go through and see what can you do with that image and try to make it look better. I mean, that Renee photo is super cropped in. A lot of my photos is just what probably wasn't maybe the photo, and I made it the photo. It's just you have to really, really think outside of the box.
Dig deep.
Yeah,
Dig really deep. The question was about photography, but I feel I do generally simpler. It's obviously on a much easier scale because Lightroom is much more complicated in my opinion, but I'll always rough cut a video first, like edit the parts that I want, and then I'll go through it again and I'll like take out all the breaths. Like if somebody's breathing or if there's like a part that's too slow, I'll take it out. Like parallelly similar. You just have to keep looking at it until you're like, okay, this is how
and
I
you'll
like
get faster, you'll get better. It'll be more natural when you want to find
intuitive,
the right photo.
if you will.
Okay.
Big word. Who knew? Who freaking knew?
She knows stuff.
Oh. Gee. Don't have a degree, but have intuition. And then I said the word wrong. And then I said the word wrong.
What? Gratitude.
My friend and I had artist passes, but we snuck into the venue early to meet the team. We went through a back elevator and actually snuck past security. Once we were inside, we talked to his team and ended up getting backstage credentials, where after the show we got to meet Nettspend, sneak another artist in the green room, and do a photo shoot. Damn. Hell yeah.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make a photo work, you kind of just have to like, go for it. And sometimes you will not get that lucky. That is truly a very lucky situation. That doesn't happen all the time.
Low-key, like, how did that even happen?
No,
like, I need, like, a
honestly,
full, like, YouTube video on that, like, without.
It's the aura, I would imagine.
There's stories like this, but I don't think we should confuse them with stories like faking media passes. Yeah. Because this person, while their story is really cool and technically they did bend a few rules here and there, they did it in a way where they weren't taking away opportunity for other people that are supposed to be there. They just went early, they went and they shot their shot, and the team happened to like them and happened to be around them. And I think there's something to be said about faking media passes is not a good look, not only because if you get caught, it's really bad for you and it could ruin a lot of your connections, but also it kind of just takes away certain opportunities for other people that are supposed to be there, or you could get in the way of one of the team's photographers, which then you're never shooting that artist ever again. Like they remember, like people remember you. I've
definitely heard of a lot of people that are actually really well-known photographers that was their come up, and obviously it's situational and it works for some people, but on the flip side, with these people that are faking these passes, once they get the chance to be on these media teams and make it work, they're gonna realize how much those actions are really hurting them, because in turn now the security guards are more alert and more strict because of that. And I've gotten literally manhandled by security and trying to get pulled out because they thought that I was probably one of those people or something. So it's like a give and take situation. Obviously it works, and like if it works for you, then that's cool. Don't necessarily know if I 100% condone that. Everybody is looking for that opportunity, right? And it's hard to sit in a place where we kind of do have those opportunities and say, hey, don't do this. But I also do think there is a more morally correct way to do it, whether that's shooting from the crowd or 100%. Doing something like this where it's like you introduce yourself to the team and hey, they end up liking you, and then you get the pass that you wanted to get anyway. There's ways around it, but I also kind of get it. And I've also seen, for example, a lot of shows don't allow cameras in. People can sneak their camera in, and if that works, that's amazing. Do that and make that work for you. But on the other side, I've also seen people shoot with their phones and make really awesome photos from their phones. I honestly think if you can make a photo work from literally the shittiest camera and then you work your way up to like the really good camera and make those photos even better, I think that's way more impressive than starting off with the really expensive gear. I feel like this is so off track from the beginning.
I was thinking about like, wait, what actually happened in this story? Like, I need to break this down. I feel like
they all kind of go back to the same point. It's all about the grind. Everyone wants to grind. Everyone wants to get that opportunity. And if it works, it works. As long as you're not harming anyone, I think it's okay. Next question. I produce for this artist, and every time I do, his manager is always super flirty with me, but I feel like as a girl in the industry, it's really hard to gauge if flirting back is a good move. This is the tale as old as time. I feel like there's a difference between flirting back and being friendly, especially as a woman in the industry. It is really, really hard and really annoying when I, for example, am trying to be buddy-buddy with a security guard so they're not mean to me and try to kick me out or something. And then they end up being really flirty with me. And then it's like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to be continuing to come to this stage and continuing to talk to this person. You're making me uncomfortable uncomfortable, but I kind of have to
Like,
let
deal
it
with it,
slide
yeah.
so that I can, it sucks, but I would maybe assume that this was leaning more towards the uncomfortable and feeling like they needed to flirt back to get more opportunities. And I would not say that is your only option, especially if that's just how that client rolls. Probably not someone you want to revolve your life around and work around. And that's definitely not a client you would probably want to work with in the future. So use it to your advantage that one time and move on. But definitely don't, if you're uncomfortable, do something about it, because it's not cool.
I think it just depends on like what sense you meant it in. Like if you meant it in the you're uncomfortable, probably keep your distance. If you meant it in the I want to flirt back because I like them, then just make sure you know who you're dealing with. Both ways, make sure you know who you're dealing with. Yeah, do your research. I was about to interview Destroy Lonely, but then I got way too nervous and backed out. Do you ever get nervous when meeting/interviewing the artists? How do you go about it? I actually have interviewed alone. Subtle flex or anything, just subtle flex I've interviewed. If you watched our previous episode, no plug intended, I gave you guys my method of how I go up to artists. But I think the way I like to think about it is I've met probably some of my like top favorite artists, even interviewed some of my top favorite artists, and it all goes back to at the end of the day, they are human. You guys are the same. They're a person, you're a person. Yeah. You both work in this industry. I think there's something to be said about respecting artist boundaries. Like if you see that they're maybe already getting mic'd up or they're not in a good mood, maybe don't go up to them and talk to them and interview them. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if they seem like they're in a good mood, if they seem like they're down, if they're just hanging out, they're just a human too. I remember I got my Ski Mask interview when he was just hanging out backstage, like after Danny Tower set.
Cool.
Yeah, and like he's a sweetheart, but I didn't know that like at the time. Like that was before I ever met him, so I was like, I didn't know if it was the bad time, but he was just chilling, so I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
he's a human too. I went and I asked and he was a sweetheart, like kind of one of those things. And then you'll also get the people that do reject you, like Ken Carson. That's fine. He wasn't like a dick about it. Like sometimes they will be dicks about it too though. Like some people will be. At the end of the day, they're
You have
human.
to also put yourself in their shoes. Like they want to be in the right headspace before they go on set. So just don't take it too personally.
Right. An interview could potentially, one singular interview, the way the internet works now, could change the trajectory of their career.
Good or bad.
They could say one good thing and it could be the best thing that's ever happened to them, or they could say one bad thing and it could completely end their career. So you have to understand it from their perspective. They are nervous. Like I'm sure they're more nervous to do it. Maybe not, but like I'm sure there's a sense of worry when you're asking them, which is like why they might say no. At the end of the day, the method to the madness is just asking.
How we said in the last episode is how you approach them.
Yeah.
I got a backstage portrait of Vince Staples at, I think it was ACL, I don't remember. But he notoriously does not do backstage portraits, and he's not someone that likes to do interviews, as I've heard. And I didn't let that scare me. I went up to his manager and I was like, hey, would love to get a little clip of him saying he's about to go on stage and grab a quick photo. Is he down? His manager was super nice and he was really chill about it, and I ended up getting the video and the portrait. It was really cool. So I mean, it just depends on the moment.
I think it's the moment, and it's also the approach. I've noticed, especially at like some of the smaller stages at rap festivals, the artists tend to get surrounded really quickly. Like the second they get on the stage and off the stage, because there's less security at the smaller stages, I guess, they get crowded. So I think in senses like that, you still have to be aware. But like even when I was interviewing Osama Sun at Rolling Loud Miami, he got out the van. There were too many people around them, so he got back in the van and he shut the door. And I was like, dang, like I'm not gonna get an interview. I think it maybe benefited slightly that I had already interviewed him before, but I went up to his manager who's outside the car and I was just like, hey, is it okay if he just stands to the side? I can do it in the van, I can do it to the side, like if he's down. And he was, but it was just one of those things where you have to know when the right moment is. So you don't want to force it. If he said no, okay, cool, bye. I'm yacht festing now, but I'm trying to give like the different scenarios. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I think Lone is someone that doesn't frequently do social stuff. At least like from my interpretation. When I went up there, he was in a very good mood. His girlfriend actually asked me for a hair tie and I gave her one, and I think that helped the mood too. Like I think it's just like these are humans. Exactly. They're humans. So the more you treat them like humans, the more you view them as humans, the more they'll like to interact with you.
Exactly.
I started dancing with him and his girlfriend because there was like a K-pop artist on stage and they were like vibing out to them, and I was like, hell yeah, like I'm vibing with you. That was fun. Like they were really sweet. That's how I got that one, because I danced with them.
Last question. There are so many people that don't try to help each other, but instead like one up on each other in the industry. How do you go about that? Wow. Because hot photographers don't gatekeep.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's gonna be people that are like that, and you know, kill them with kindness. That's not someone you have to surround yourself with. There are definitely really awesome creatives that aren't like that. I think, you know, you just gotta find those people and surround yourself with more of those people. You know, you just make light of the situation. Yeah, someone can be gatekeeping, whatever, but there's gonna be plenty of other people that don't. There's other creatives that also share their tips and tricks as well.
Yeah, I also think to a certain extent, I see both sides of it. I don't believe in gatekeep. Like, I think anybody asks me a question, I'll answer you like the best answer I have. But I also do know some people that people gatekeep to them when they were starting out in the industry. So then that's kind of just like how they move now, because that's how they got into it. They were like, I had to do it on my own, so now you're gonna have to do it on your own.
Yeah, which is not the right way to go. It's not the right way,
but I don't know. I think there's plenty of people that will help you and are kind, and if you relish so heavily on the people that don't, you won't really learn.
Yeah, it's not like, don't dwell on the moment. If someone's really rude to you, just move on, and that's just them. Maybe it was because someone was mean to them, and that's just how they think that they should be, when
that's not
the case. But you know, you don't know what's going on in their situation either. So again, like, you don't need to surround yourself with those kind of people. Just do you.
I also think that if it's like you're meeting somebody at a festival and they're rude to your face, you don't know, like maybe they just had like one of the worst interactions of, no, not the worst interactions of their life, but like they just had a really bad interaction with somebody else, and now they're like in their mood. A lot is happening all the time. Also, I think there's a lot of people that do outreach by DMs, and where I try to answer as many DMs as possible that I can, I also think sometimes there's just a lot. Like, it's hard to respond to everybody.
That
personally taken thing, because it's like, if I could respond to every single person that DMs me and help me, I would. Only so much certain people can do, you know?
On the other flip side, I will say, if someone is giving you advice, but it's all on like, if someone's helping you out, that's awesome, but then you have to do your part. Can understand to an extent the gatekeeping. I wouldn't say gatekeeping necessarily, but I think it's more of, you still have to have that drive into you to want to keep going. And if you are wanting someone to give you all of the answers and have that kind of handed to you in a way, it's not really going to take you very far. So I think I can understand both sides, but I definitely do not condone gatekeeping. I think it's really silly.
There's people that don't gatekeep like you, but if you're not going to do anything with the advice and the tips that she gives you, then it's like, why are you even asking? I think there's a difference between fully just like gatekeeping and being like weird than like giving advice, but you can't like give an opportunity to every single person that asks you. That's impossible. If it's not because you're trying to gatekeep, it's because you do your best. You do a lot to help people as much as you can. So
no, this is a really good point, because I definitely have gotten some people that will ask me, and they're like, how do I start shooting? And I say, like, you know, this is your options of what you can do, and you know, like, you kind of have to do your own research, because I don't know where you live, I don't know where you are, I don't know anything about that area that you live in, I don't know what kind of media outlets or what exact media outlets you should reach out to. Like, you have to do your part on that,
and don't take that personally.
It's all about the grind. Everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own grind, and a lot of this industry is also just luck, because someone will reach out to you. Someone will reach out to you because they just saw your Instagram or something, and it's maybe because they saw a post that you made, or they just searched up New York photographer and you were the first person to show up.
This is kind of like off topic, but I almost like wouldn't have worked with Perspective. Not like wouldn't have, but I literally, Kofi DM'd me and I missed the DM. Like, I just didn't see it because it went to my request. And at the time I was getting like YouTube DMs too, so it was like everything was scattered in there. And then he like, I think he commented on my post or something, and then that's how I ended up seeing it.
You know what's funny?
So check your DMs, guys. Literally check your freaking DMs, because seriously, I've missed out on opportunities because I haven't checked my DMs.
And going back to that, I put Kofi on because he would always comment on my TikToks. And we were TikTok mutuals from the very beginning, before I literally had like any TikTok followers. He's like one of my first people that were mutuals. And we both put each other on, and you know, like, I was like, hey, you should work with us, and I sent his profile to Respective, and you know,
the rest is history.
I mean, it's all about who you know, and you never know what connection will get you to the other job. So,
and that stems back to when you get somewhere, remember to be kind to every single person.
Exactly.
Because
you don't know who they know.
you don't know who they don't, and you don't know who they'll be. Like, and that's not an opportunistic thing. That's just like a genuine try to be like a nice human. I've had people that have been mean to me, and then they realize, oh, like she works for the festival, and then all of a sudden it's like a shift of energy, and I'm like, oh, 5 seconds ago you were yelling at me because I only had an iPhone in the pit, but now you're nice to me. Oh, what's up with that though?
I've had that multiple times.
Yeah, I can imagine with you, especially.
It's all until they look at your Instagram.
Nope, seriously, literally.
It always says follow back though.
Oh, clocked, gagged. There's a lot of aura forming in this industry, if you will. Like, there really is. Like, people think they're the coolest people on the planet for, like, working in this industry, which I think it's a really cool industry to work in, don't get me wrong, but it's, like, sometimes what the people do, it's just, like, guys, like, artists.
You still
like,
have to keep putting in work.
Yeah, we're all humans. You don't know who the next star will be.
Exactly.
You don't know who they'll come up with.
Exactly.
So you never know. Be kind to everyone. The way of life, they say.
Well, I think this is another really successful episode.
Oh, my God, T.
I can't believe
I didn't embarrass myself too much this time.
We're going to have the link in our bio for putting in your submissions for your stories, your advice. Let us know if you like more questions. Let us know if you like more yapping silly.
Let us know if you guys know anyone you want to come on with us. Yeah. Artists, creatives,
we want to bring people on.
Production, anybody. The ant crawling on the floor over there.
Literally.
Anyone. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of Overexposed.
Bye.
Bye. I'm Giulia.
She's signing off. We're done.